letting go of worries to live a peaceful life. At some point, we stop worrying about winning or losing. We choose silence, offer a smile, and move beyond pressures with serenity in our hearts. That is not weakness, but the choice of one who truly understands life. Happiness does not arise from struggle, but from the peace within one's own soul. Amid life's busyness, we only wish for the years to pass in quietude, for this lifetime to be peaceful for us and for those we love. Sometimes simplicity is the path to the deepest fulfillment. Life is never easy. Every family, every situation, every person carries their own sorrows. Do not blame others for not helping you, and do not be angry with those who fail to care. In this world, everyone experiences joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain. All must be felt and owned by ourselves. Along life's journey, we ultimately walk alone. The one who can help us best is none other than ourselves. When your spirit feels low, do not make things harder for yourself. In human life, apart from birth and death, everything else is trivial. As long as the sun rises each day, there is no abyss you cannot cross. Life can be exhausting, so why burden your heart with more fatigue? Emotions alone cannot solve any problem. Instead, think more broadly, take things more lightly, simplify your approach, and you will feel happier. Release your worries, keep your heart calm, and find peace each day. Let go of unpleasant matters so your mind may remain pure. It is said that the happiest person is the one who knows how to let go. Suffering is not caused by fate or by others, but by ourselves. If we learn to let go, we will live more simply and more joyfully. Some people easily fall into despair because their hearts carry too many burdens, too many thoughts, too much sorrow. They become stuck and eventually collapse. Life is neither simple nor easy. Sometimes we must know how to release certain things so we can stand up strong and move forward. Clinging only traps us in suffering and keeps us unhappy. When we learn to let go, we will discover that many good things still await us ahead. Surely you have asked yourself more than once, why can we not remember the things we need to? And why can we not forget the things we wish to? Perhaps this is the question in many hearts. A merchant once sought out a monk. He asked, "Master, I often want to let everything go because I am so weary, yet I cannot. Do you have a way to help me?" The monk handed him a cup of water and told him to hold it. Then the monk began pouring hot water into the cup without pause, causing water and tea to overflow onto the man's hand and burn him. The man dropped the cup, shattering it. At that moment, the monk said, "If you wish to let go of something, you must let go before disaster strikes. To release only after calamity is too late." This illustrates why we must learn to let go from the very beginning, before we know whether what lies ahead will be good or bad. In this life, only we know when to pick things up and when to put them down. Some endeavors require patience to yield sweet results, while others bear no fruit and only bring pain the more we cling to them. Letting go then becomes an inevitable choice, though human stubbornness makes it difficult to release instantly. In truth, deep within each heart lie wounds and sorrows that gnaw away in the solitude of night. We say that time heals all wounds, yet that is a comforting myth. Time is not medicine. It does not heal heartache. Time is indifferent, while the mind is purposeful. When enough time passes, our mood and thoughts naturally shift. Once our emotions calm and our consciousness finds a hint of peace, we can open our hearts to release resentment and sorrow. Looking back, life seems like fleeting clouds and wind, impossible to hold. In that moment, we no longer wish to cling. Thus, it is not time that heals wounds, but our own decision to let go. Only by releasing all sorrow can we open ourselves to the good that lies ahead. Happiness or suffering is our own choice. If we cherish what we have, we will not waste time or miss the life meant for us. When we learn to let go of worldly fame and gain, to abandon grudges and petty entanglements, to forsake selfish schemes and attachments of greed, we will find genuine joy and tranquility within. Sometimes we bow our heads to see more clearly the path before us. Many recognize that life has brought too many disappointments, yet they cannot let go. Learn to release some burdens, and your soul will grow lighter and calmer. You will notice gentle changes day by day. Whether you carry pressure and fatigue depends entirely on your own mind. In the chamber of the soul, if you do not sweep away the dust of the world, it will cloud your spirit. Removing that dust brightens a weary heart. By cultivating stillness, you dispel all troubles. By casting aside purposeless suffering, you allow happiness to overflow. Second, let go of the past. Only when the past is released can your heart welcome new joys and transform your emotions. From this moment, learn to face truth calmly, to confront every difficulty with equanimity, to view life through a positive lens, and to see the goodness in every circumstance. Third, let go of negativity. Negative thoughts can destroy you. To become successful, strive to let positivity conquer negativity, nobility overcome narrow-mindedness, sincerity defeat hypocrisy, resilience triumph over weakness, and greatness vanquish mediocrity. With effort and determination, you can achieve everything on your own. Fourth, letting go of resentment and blame and instead choosing to keep striving. No success comes without first experiencing failure. Resentment and anger only obstruct the path to achievement. By releasing bitterness, calming your mind, embracing failure, and then persevering, you kindle hope. Fifth, letting go of narrow-mindedness. Tolerance is a noble virtue. Extending forgiveness to others opens a broad, smooth road for yourself. It is also an act of mercy toward your own heart. Life is not only about holding on, but also about releasing, for when you clench your fists too tightly, there is nothing left inside. When you loosen your grip, the whole world lies within your hand. Learn to let go, and you will live a happy, peaceful life. Release hatred. Do not blame life or harbor grudges against anyone. Our destiny is shaped by the Creator, and life's impermanence ensures that what comes must eventually go. Cast aside every sorrow, bury every unhappy memory. Live with serenity, and pay no mind to idle gossip. Let go of past wrongs so that sadness may subside, for in this ever-changing world nothing endures forever. Let go of weakness and fear. When you stumble, learn to rise again. Even things you cannot bring yourself to forget should not be carried as burdens. If you can, do not lament fate or dwell on sorrow. Let life's winds carry you forward. If love alone cannot ease your mind, why trouble yourself over fleeting anger? If you can, relax. Live with compassion and strength, knowing that giving endures. When you are content, your heart finds rest. If you can, let your spirit drift on the breeze. By learning to release, you open yourself to countless small moments of happiness. How tranquil life becomes. If you can, let each passing minute flow gently, without the clamor of life's marketplace. Let silence lull you into peace, and let your worries drift away on the rustling wind. Lightening your perspective brings joy. A person's maturity is not measured by age, but by attitude. A mature soul does not necessarily need many experiences. It matters more how one responds to each situation. In a group, when you see another's fault, reflect on your own. When you hear of someone's misdeeds, empathize with the hardships they endured. The lighter your heart regards problems, the less pain you suffer. The broader your generosity, the more your joy will multiply. Life never sails smoothly at every turn, nor is everything perfect or pleasing. When misunderstandings arise, instead of pointless arguments, smile and move on, letting time reveal the truth. Each of us needs only to fulfill our own duties, then all will naturally settle. Life needs a quiet space for the soul. Speaking too much risks careless words and needless strife. Rather than droning on, why not turn inward and contemplate your heart? Instead of blaming the heavens or others, focus on your essential work. Only people and matters you cling to can disturb your peace. Harm reaches you only when you refuse to let go. If you are gentle and kind, who can stay angry with you? If you do not give others power over your mind, who can disturb your calm? All sorrow will pass. Treating things too seriously only brings self-made suffering. To live joyfully, practice letting go. If you cannot shine like the sun, at least be like the moon and stars, offering a gentle light. To be happy, think openly and look ahead. A generous heart is a blessing. Taking things lightly brings joy. These matters of wealth and beauty, right and wrong, are not truly yours to hold. If you let them cloud your mind, peace will never come. Worrying over the future and the world's troubles robs life of its joy. The road of life is never perfectly smooth. Embrace impermanence. Live with lightness. Sometimes I ask myself, why is life not as joyous as I wish? The answer comes: too much worry, too little clarity, too many desires, too little contentment, too much preoccupation, too little detachment. We are small beings, yet we fill ourselves with love and hate and leave no room for peace. I ask my heart, why must emotions cause such pain? It replies, when your heart is moved, your feelings split, half belongs elsewhere, and you are no longer whole. Your joy depends on another, and your tears are not your own. Heartache proves you have been touched. Sorrow shows your concern lay with someone else. I still cannot understand why life's choices are so hard. My heart explains, to want everything and to hold on to everything is human nature. In truth, facing choices is simple. Choose what you love and love what you choose. Whether in work or love, once you decide, do not regret it and do not blame yourself. I wonder, why is my body so weary? My heart answers, born into this world, who can avoid struggle and fatigue? Is there any path made entirely of roses? Some quietly endure and press on. Others, surrounded by noise, cry and complain. In hardship, be a little optimistic and face challenges calmly. Then whatever comes will pass. I ask myself how to live well. My heart advises, treat others sincerely, approach work wholeheartedly, face emotions with courage, and show yourself compassion. Never cease striving or neglect gratitude. Wherever you live, be a person of conscience. In the end, gain or loss matters little. We are but travelers passing through this world. In love, what does it matter if we unite or part? We are only experiencers of fate. In wealth, what does it matter if we have much or little? Ultimately, we can only use and pass on what we have. We brought nothing into this world, and we take nothing with us. Why cling so tightly? Friends and family come together by chance and part for their own reasons. Why force what cannot be held? Some things must be forgotten, so let them go. When it is time to release, do so without delay. Do not torment yourself over those who choose to leave. No matter how deep your affection, once they decide to go, even the strongest bond only creates further entanglement. Some things aren't unmet for lack of wholehearted effort, but because they simply aren't meant for us. No matter how many strategies we devise, we cannot control everything. Therefore, as people, we only need to be sincere and act with a clear conscience. In our work, we must give our very best with integrity and openness. The rest we leave to fate's unfolding and welcome whatever good fortune comes our way. In doing so, everything we experience gains its own meaning and peace. Turn your gaze from the world outward to the judge within your own heart. With an open mind, let your spirit roam freely through all the realms of life. Few are perfect. By practicing compassion and generosity, we live without shame and in harmony with others. When we feel hopeless and trapped, pause to listen, to read, to smile, and tell yourself, take a breath. This is merely a bend in the road, not a dead end. Everything in life is temporary. When fortune smiles, enjoy it, for it too will pass. When hardship comes, do not worry, for it will not last forever. Morality is not a spare tire to hide behind in social dealings. It is the guiding rudder that keeps us on course through this transient world. When others help resolve our problems, we should thank them, but not place blind faith in them, so that if they cannot solve our issues, we still believe in our own abilities and strength. Old friends are gold, new friends are diamonds. If you have diamonds, do not forget the gold, for diamonds must be set in gold to shine. Friendship is like a book. It takes only minutes to burn, but years to write. Worry will not remove tomorrow's difficulties, but it will steal today's peace. Therefore, live simply, speak kindly, and love sincerely. We all know a car's windshield is much larger than its rearview mirror. So it is with life. Our future matters more than our past. Yet from time to time, we look back to learn, so that we can live fully today and plan wisely for tomorrow. Remember, when we pray for others, the universe listens and channels our positive energy to them. So when you feel peace and joy, know that someone, somewhere, may have prayed for you. Sometimes we should see the world with childlike wonder, hearing love's call from the depths of our hearts. In this life, honesty and kindness are essential for each of us. Kindness is like the moonlight of the soul. Its gentle glow illuminates our inner sky and softens every heart beneath its beam. A kind thought is a seed, a good heart is the flower, and a kind deed is the fruit. Each of us is born with a seed of goodness. If we nurture it daily, it grows into a mighty tree. Some lose that seed and grow cold. Others taint it and become callous. No one can live without kindness, and no one remains untouched by compassion. Even hearts of steel and ice will someday be warmed by a spark of goodwill. Doing good is not like depositing money in a bank. A truly kind person seeks no reward or interest. The highest form of goodness is acting without regard for outcomes or thanks. Have we ever faced too many choices at once? We all crave perfection, so we want perfect options to match ourselves, to be the best and choose the best. One day, a young student and an elderly teacher discussed perfection. The student spoke passionately of his quest for the perfect blade of grass. The teacher listened and then gently said, "May I ask you to do something for me?" "Of course, teacher," replied the student. "Before us is a lawn. Walk straight ahead, never step backward, and pluck the one blade of grass you think is the most beautiful." The student began at once. On his first step, he saw a dewy green blade underfoot. Just as he reached to pick it, he looked forward and saw many more that seemed more perfect. He walked on, step by step. Yet each time he bent to pick the blade at his feet, he saw another ahead that looked better. He pressed on until he reached the far edge of the lawn and had no choice but to pick the best blade in that small patch. He returned to the teacher with a weary face, having learned the lesson without words. The teacher smiled kindly and said, "If you had been content and stopped searching earlier, you would have found an even more perfect blade." Many people are like this in life. In endlessly choosing, they lose wonderful opportunities and later regret it. Remember today's story, my friend. Have you ever taken a moment to still yourself and simply observe the world? You might realize that life never stops changing, like waves that endlessly crash ashore. Often the waves of worry and unease are more frequent than those of joy and peace. Perhaps that's why some people declare, "No news is good news." Yet even when the sea lies calm, many cannot accept it as happiness. They cannot sit quietly. They must stir up storms and chaos to prove their existence and draw attention. Is the human spirit really so impoverished? Must we wander through life like beggars, forever seeking happiness and suffering, only to become victims of our own egos? One key to living in peace and joy is learning to simplify complex problems. Embrace whatever comes your way and savor every peaceful, happy moment here and now. By simplifying the complicated, life becomes lighter. Don't make the simple unnecessarily complex. A poetic soul sees pain as but a passing cloud. Rain gives way to sun, sun to rain, yet life flows on. True suffering arises only in our own hearts. If we watch the world's current carry everything along, even sorrow drifts away. Carefree beauty endures amid impermanence. Great joy will eventually pass, and extreme pain will fade. Knowing this, do not grow arrogant. Today's success offers no guarantee against tomorrow's sorrow. Notice how children cry easily without dwelling on sadness, while adults force laughter through tears in their hearts. Cultivating at the root means shaping how we perceive people and events. Practice the following mindsets to build lasting serenity in your life. We cannot avoid being judged or mocked by others. Rather than inwardly suffer, learn to laugh at your own imperfections. That confidence in your flaws is the first step towards self-improvement. It's natural to disagree with others. You need not change your views simply because they're unpopular. Live so you harm neither yourself nor others. Do no harm without shame before your own conscience. Some receive life's favors more easily than others, but that is no one's fault. We must accept this hard truth. Life isn't fair. Strive each day toward your goals. Even if you don't reach the summit you dreamed of, you will at least stand farther than where you began. Remember, you will never have everything you want. In each phase of life you will yearn for things you lack, and even when you have them, you will desire more. The secret is learning to be content with what you have, relieving your stress. Every day demands choices about what to do and what to forego. Think carefully before you decide, so you don't waste time on the unworthy. Everything has two sides. Don't trust stories told from a single perspective, and don't be dazzled by social media glitter. Investigate thoroughly before placing your trust. Schemers may achieve quick gains, but those who choose integrity alone endure the long journey. Be a good person, even if life treats you harshly, because goodness lets you sleep soundly, free from fear that your misdeeds will surface. If you rely on others to bring you happiness, you set yourself up for disappointment. Love life and love people without expecting anything in return. Then your heart will remain peaceful. Though the one who wrongs me may cross the river, though that flower may never bloom for me, why hope for streams to flow backward? Live your life fully. Joys and sorrows are but tokens. Spring's excitement leaves trembling for autumn. No matter how virtuous you are, you cannot please everyone. People will praise and they will criticize. Success will invite envy and scorn. Some will idolize you, others despise you. You cannot satisfy every expectation, so do not lose your essence in pursuit of approval. Everyone needs principles and self-respect. Though all eyes may look alike, perspectives differ. Though all mouths speak, each voice has its own tone. Though all hearts are made the same, each mind thinks differently. Money may be the same, but spending habits vary. Right and wrong, good and bad, are decided by one's stance. Different circumstances yield different viewpoints. Walk confidently on your own 2 feet. Grass grows proudly without applause. Wildflowers in remote mountains bloom fragrantly without an audience. Work without needing understanding. Give your all. Live without needing universal affection. Be honest. Flowers take countless forms, yet bloom unimpeded. Each person has their own style. Why tear each other down instead of lifting one another up? If someone deserves your respect, honor them. If someone brings you happiness, cherish them. If someone touches your heart, love them. Being a good person isn't necessarily easy. You can't move thousands of hearts or tame the tongues of the world. Yet being good isn't impossible. A kind heart is the mark of gentleness, and walking your own path is enough. A human life isn't terribly long. Since you are here anyway, live with a little beauty. Many things in life don't require your will to succeed. The sun doesn't rise late because you are unhappy. The moon doesn't withhold its light because you are sad. Your vision doesn't plunge the world into darkness. Dimming others doesn't guarantee the light will shine solely on you. In this world, there is only an unsharpened axe, not any tree that cannot be felled. It is only that people have not yet thought of the method. Truly, nothing is impossible. If someone wants to, they will find a way. If not, they will find an excuse. Life is like a glass of water. Whether it is hot or cold, if the temperature is right, it can be drunk. Whether it is sweet or bitter, if it suits your taste, it is good. The 4-season cycle. If spring, summer, autumn, or winter matches your mood, they are all beautiful. Happiness is simply when everything suits you. Each person's life has 2 paths. One is felt by the heart and called a dream. The other is traveled by the feet and called reality. If the heart does not perceive in time, reality will become blurred. If the feet walk too slowly, dreams will drift far away. Nothing is more painful than knowing the one you love turns to another while you remain foolishly in love. Every meeting and every parting has its own fate. Accepting it and finding peace is the greatest blessing. When someone is by your side, making them feel at peace is a great success. As children, happiness is very simple. When we grow up, living simply becomes true happiness. To make life worthwhile, spend it doing what you want and loving what you want. We are disappointed because we expect too much. Dreams fade because they are too distant. Some people cannot be forgotten because they refuse to let go. Others must be forgotten because they are not worth remembering. Do not trust your eyes too much. Sometimes what you see is only what you wish to see, while what you dislike slips past unnoticed. In truth, the one who is misunderstood loses nothing. The one who judges loses the opportunity. We all think we control our lives, forgetting that life itself depends on many people working together. Do not sacrifice a long-term future for short-term gain. Remember that anything gained through another's sacrifice is never lasting. Life is short, and there is no time to trouble yourself even for a minute. If the final result is not yet here, smile and move forward with courage. When you meet loved ones, give them a little warmth. In life's storms, grant yourself some optimism. If you love life and balance everything well, joy and happiness will spread ever farther. Life is not a race, but a journey. The race matters at the finish line. Along the way, pay attention to the scenery. If your mood is good, the world looks more beautiful. No matter how many difficulties you face today, trust that yesterday cannot return and tomorrow will surely come. A person's life is like a vehicle heading toward their grave. No one can travel the entire journey with you, not relatives, family, or friends. If you are lucky enough to travel part of the way with someone, when they must say goodbye and get off, even if it hurts, be grateful and wave farewell, for new companions will join you at the next station. Whether coffee is bitter or sweet depends on whether you add sugar or salt. Pain does not lie in forgetting, but in whether you have the courage to step forward to something new. Life is like a cup of tea. At first it may taste bitter, but that is not all. After the bitterness comes a gentle sweetness. We grow tired because we hesitate between perseverance and letting go. Sometimes we understand but do not wish to accept the truth. We enter life under fate's influence, but whether we stay or leave is our own decision. Not explaining keeps things gentle. Not clinging opens the way. Life is not perfect. Do not blame others. Do not mock anyone. Do not feel the need to admire them. When the sun shines, warm yourself. When storms arise, find shelter. Pursue your dreams. On the path you choose, the world will be at peace. When someone deliberately hurts you, forgive them but never trust them again. Forgiving someone lets you move on. If you continue to trust blindly, you give others more opportunities to hurt you. We should believe that everyone can learn from mistakes, but let life prove it. Even if life gives reason to worry, find 1,001 stories that make you happy. No matter how much the world weeps, keep your heart light. Let go of people and things that disappoint you. Live in the present moment. If you care for yourself and do not rely on others, and persist in moving forward, you will surely see light and warmth along the road ahead. Life is not a battlefield. There is no need to settle wins and losses between people. As empathy increases, misunderstandings decrease. In every matter, as willingness to yield grows, conflict diminishes. Some things require patience. Some people require concession. There is no need to fight for superiority. You do not have to seek applause or understanding from anyone, as each person has their own perspective and character. We often take ourselves too seriously and worry about gains and losses, then believe others do not understand us. Being truly human means learning to lighten your ego, reduce self-centeredness, and put yourself in others' shoes. You will find life much more beautiful. That is why the more you open your heart, the greater your joy. The more generous you are, the more you receive. Do not discuss others behind their backs. Do not pay too much attention to rumors about yourself. A worthless person gives nothing to talk about. The more excellent you are, the more you will be noticed and judged. Admitting faults is a form of honesty. Letting things pass is a form of grace. If you offer sincerity and do not receive grace, it shows the other person is somewhat petty and uncultured. We cannot control the words of others. The simplest thing is to keep a gentle heart. To untangle life and live happily, you must be partly clear-headed and sometimes a bit foolish. Often there is no need to be too decisive. There are things that once you see clearly you may not want to do, and people you understand deeply you may choose not to connect with. In truth, deep within every soul there lies a hidden corner that no one else can share in a lifetime. All hardships and obstacles must be faced alone and quietly resolved. But whatever happens, do not spend every day in discomfort, for we cannot know how many joys await us tomorrow, how many paths lie ahead of us, or how many doors call for our effort. Only when we experience both joy and sorrow is life complete. Only when we taste both bitterness and sweetness is life truly lived. No matter how great the pain, after a night's sleep, let it all go into the past. Dwelling on yesterday only exhausts you further. You cannot know what others think, nor can you control their actions. The only thing you can do is to devote yourself wholeheartedly to your own tasks. You have chosen your path, live it well. Inner peace brings peace and joy outwardly. Black or white depends on one's perspective. Illusion or reality shines by the clarity of the heart. Whether life is good or bad hinges on each person's outlook. We hear, see, and act according to our own thoughts. Every mind is unique, every viewpoint different, shaped by individual judgments and perceptions. What is right or wrong to see depends on each one's mood and perspective. If your viewpoint is flawed, your conclusions will be subjective and inaccurate. We should not imprison ourselves within rigid limits, forbidding our minds to venture beyond a narrow framework, lest life lose its pleasures and become dull. Monotony breeds discouragement and saps our motivation. If we cling to a so-called safe shell, we will not achieve the results we desire. By contrast, if you embrace life with optimism and positive thinking, you will find the motivation to move forward. Changing your perspective, your thoughts, and your approach will reveal new opportunities you once overlooked. As the Buddhist said, black or white differs by a glance. Illusion or reality is revealed by the mind's light. In life, there is no absolute truth, only viewpoints. Everything we hear is merely an opinion, not the truth. Everything we see is only one angle, not the whole reality. Indeed, the best teacher is experience itself, not someone else's distorted viewpoint. Life always brings surprises beyond our expectations. We must learn to accept and adapt to circumstances. You cannot demand that everything happen according to your wishes. We must equip ourselves with courage and steadfast willpower to face every challenge. Only then can you more easily achieve the goals you set for your life. In any situation, even when you feel stuck, change your thinking. Calmly examine the issue from another angle, and you will overcome every obstacle and difficulty. When you make a mistake, instead of tormenting yourself and suffering, bravely rise above it with confidence to gain a broader, more comprehensive view of life. We should avoid extreme thinking and excessive perfectionism, for these undermine our ability to reason, judge, and solve problems. To foster creativity, we must view things from multiple dimensions. To succeed, we must think differently. Negative thoughts can bring us fresh insights. The world is ever moving and developing. Opportunities favor those who seek them. Success comes to those who seize the moment. Transform your outlook on life. Be someone who is always positive, offering a fresh, unique perspective on any matter. Reflect on the journey you have traveled, appreciate the value you possess, and adopt a viewpoint that leaves no room for regret over what has passed. Life's events cannot be predicted, but have you ever wondered, if at that moment you had viewed things differently, might you have received something else? Now, amid the busy evenings on crowded streets, how many times have you paused to contemplate your life? Every person must endure ups and downs, worries and turmoil. Yet life is never calm, never pausing on any single moment. It moves with the hands of the clock and rushes forward so swiftly that yesterday's moments can never be recaptured. We stay busy, chasing after everything, leaving all behind, only to be swept up in the rushing current. Human emotions are like strange winds, sometimes gentle, sometimes turbulent and chaotic. They mirror the highs and lows within you and the tangled challenges you face. People often say that when you're sad, your emotions intensify. That is natural and slips into unconscious patterns. But the key lies in how you perceive events from a certain angle. You need to know how to moderate yourself against distorted thoughts before impatience makes you take actions you will later regret, actions that may hurt yourself and others. When you encounter something in life, cultivate a clear, accurate perspective on the matter. Your viewpoint today shapes the outcome you will receive tomorrow. Either life will blossom or it will stagnate. But dear friend, we will all grow old and eventually depart from this life. Therefore, each day is profoundly meaningful, offering us opportunities to uncover countless mysteries and savor life's infinite wonders. Do not let yourself fall into ridiculous limits or unreasonable constraints, forbidding your own growth beyond a narrow mold. Else your life and those around you will become increasingly dull, stifled, stuck, and joyless. I once heard a story that illustrates the core value you gain when you adopt an open, uncalculating, non-envious perspective. Sometimes true worth lies right before our eyes, yet because we fail to recognize it, we cast it aside into oblivion. Here is that story. A group of students, after graduating and pursuing their own careers, returned together to visit their teacher, Mr. C. After some conversation, they began to complain about the stresses of work and life. Hearing this, the teacher went into the kitchen and re-emerged with a large pot of coffee and an assortment of cups, porcelain, plastic, glass, and crystal. Some cups were very simple, while others were quite expensive. The teacher told the students to choose their own cup and pour themselves coffee. Once each person had a cup, the teacher said, "If you pay attention, you will notice this. All the expensive and beautiful cups have been chosen, and no one touched the inexpensive ones." In truth, deep within each person's soul, there lies a hidden corner that no one else can share in a lifetime. Every hardship and obstacle must be faced alone and quietly resolved. But whatever happens, don't spend your days in discomfort, for you never know how many joys await you tomorrow, how many roads lie ahead to walk, or how many doors call for your effort. Only with both happiness and sorrow is life complete. Only with both bitterness and sweetness is life truly lived. No matter how deep the pain, after a night's sleep, let it all slip into the past. Dwelling all day on yesterday only wears you down further. You cannot know what others think, nor control what they do. The only thing you can do is give your utmost to your own tasks. You have chosen your path. Live your own life well. Inner peace brings outward peace and joy. What you see as black or white depends on your perspective. Illusion or reality is revealed by the clarity of your mind. Whether life seems good or bad hinges entirely on how you choose to see it. We hear, see, and act according to our own thoughts. Every person's viewpoint is unique, shaped by individual judgments and feelings. What is right or wrong to one may look entirely different to another, according to their mood and outlook. If your perspective is skewed, your conclusions will be subjective and inaccurate. Don't trap yourself within rigid limits that stifle your mind. Ultimately, life loses its pleasures and becomes dull. Monotony breeds discouragement and saps motivation. If you cling to a so-called safe shell, you will never achieve the results you desire. On the other hand, if you embrace life with optimism and positive thinking, you will find the motivation to move forward. Changing your viewpoint, your thoughts, and your approach will reveal new opportunities you once overlooked. As the Buddha taught, black or white differs by a glance. Illusion or reality shines by the mind's light. In life, there is no absolute truth, only perspectives. Everything we hear is merely an opinion. Everything we see is only one angle. The best teacher is experience itself, not someone else's distorted view. Life will always throw unexpected events your way. Learn to accept them and adapt. You cannot demand that everything unfold according to your wishes. Equip yourself with courage and steadfast resolve to face every challenge. Only then can you more easily achieve your goals. In any circumstance, even when you feel trapped, pause, examine the problem from another angle, and you will overcome every obstacle. When you make a mistake, instead of tormenting yourself, rise with courage and see life from a broader, more balanced perspective. Avoid extreme thinking and excessive perfectionism. They undermine your ability to reason, judge, and solve problems. To be creative, you must view things multidimensionally. To succeed, you must think differently. Negative thoughts can sometimes spark fresh insights. The world constantly moves and evolves. Opportunity favors those who seek it. Success comes to those who seize the moment. Transform your approach to life. Be someone who is always positive and offers a fresh, unique perspective on every situation. Reflect on the journey you have traveled, appreciate the value you already possess, and adopt a viewpoint that leaves no room for regret over the past. Life's events cannot be predicted, but have you ever wondered, if you had viewed things differently back then, might you have received something else? Now, amid the rush of evening crowds on busy streets, how many times do you pause to reflect on your own life? Each of us must endure ups and downs, anxieties, and struggles. Yet life is never still. It moves with the ticking clock and rushes forward so swiftly that yesterday's moments can never be reclaimed. We stay busy, chasing after everything, leaving it all behind, only to be swept up in a turbulent current. Human emotions are like strange winds, sometimes calm, sometimes wild and chaotic. They mirror your own inner highs and lows and the tangled challenges you face. People often say that when you're sad, your emotions intensify automatically. But what matters is how you choose to perceive events. You need to learn to rein in distorted thoughts before impatience drives you to actions you'll later regret, actions that may hurt yourself and others. When you encounter something in life, Cultivate a clear and accurate perspective. Your viewpoint today shapes the outcome you will experience tomorrow, either a life that blossoms or one that stalls. Remember, we will all age and eventually leave this world. Therefore, every day we live is profoundly meaningful. Each day offers us a chance to discover countless mysteries and savor life's infinite wonders. Do not confine yourself to unreasonable limits or narrow molds, for that will make your life, and those close to you, become ever more dull, stifled, stuck, and joyless. I once heard a story that illustrates the core value of life when one adopts an open, selfless, non-envious perspective. Sometimes true worth lies right before our eyes, yet because we fail to recognize it, we cast it aside into oblivion. The story goes, a group of students, after graduating and going their separate ways, returned to visit their teacher, Mr. C. They began to complain about the stresses of work and life. Hearing this, the teacher fetched a large pot of coffee and an array of cups: porcelain, plastic, glass, and crystal. Some cups were very simple, others were quite expensive. He told the students to choose any cup and pour themselves some coffee. Once each had selected, he pointed out, "Notice that all the expensive and beautiful cups have been taken, while the cheap ones remain untouched." He smiled and added, "Life is the coffee, wealth, status, and possessions are the cups. They hold your life, but do not change its quality. Don't let the cups distract you. Simply savor your coffee." This story reminds us that our jobs, money, and social status are merely containers for our lives. What truly matters is the life within. Give and receive with generosity. Remain open-hearted in love. Persevere through hardship, and let each day be a step toward deeper understanding. Life is not a race, but a journey to be experienced one meaningful step at a time, where the reward lies not only at the finish line, but in every moment along the way. Do you believe that some people only realize they have truly lived when they draw their last breath? Therefore, we must be mindful that we are alive with every inhalation and exhalation. If we fail to do this, we are merely existing, not living. Someone may awaken from a long sleep and feel they have grown when they discover they possess two hands, one to help themselves and one to help others. What happens when a flower blooms deep in the wilderness? Its fragrance goes unnoticed. No one admires its beauty. No one praises it. No one shares in its joy. Does the flower die, suffer, become anxious, or despair? No. The flower simply opens and releases its scent on the wind. Whether passers-by commend its beauty matters not. It freely offers its fragrance and joy to the vast world. You have found tranquility. We have found tranquility, living like that innocent flower, blooming and spreading fragrance in the forest's depths. We may know familiar sayings, like, "When life hands you a sour lemon, don't fear it. Use it to cook or make a refreshing glass of lemonade." If you face a situation with pessimism, the challenges in your life will taste like bitter lemons. But if you meet it with optimism, a love of life, and an open heart, those very difficulties become a delightful glass of lemonade. Whether you pucker at the sour or savor the cool drink is your choice. Time can help us age, but only by stumbling through life's trials do we grow wiser. A person of true insight, when alone, restrains their own mind, seeing solitude as an opportunity for self-reflection, when with others, guards their speech, treating each conversation as a chance to learn humbly. Life is suffering. This is one of Buddhism's fundamental teachings. Yet without joy, how would we know sorrow? Without suffering, how would we fully grasp happiness? In sorrow there is joy. In joy there is sorrow. Utter suffering brings bliss. And the peak of joy can mark the start of pain. Impermanence. All exists only within human perception. The Buddha taught that pursuing fame and a swollen ego makes joy itself a form of suffering. Disdain fame and humble yourself, and suffering transforms into joy. In practice, one faces the ocean of life suffering so that the heart may mature, become resilient, untroubled by pain, and not lost in illusion. Life is like a long journey carrying us through highs and lows, each a unique adventure. To find true freedom and peace, the Buddha advised that we learn to release our anxieties, much like watching clouds drift across the sky. Releasing worries doesn't mean denying emotions or avoiding hardship. It means discovering inner freedom and serenity. Letting go of trivial concerns keeps the heart open and supple. When we stop clinging to petty worries, our hearts expand and we find freedom. We have the power to choose our response to every situation. By learning to let go and not overburden ourselves, we become like flowers blooming amid the rushing flow of time, radiant and unfettered. Life does not always go our way. Therefore, we must embrace these 3 principles and maintain an optimistic, joyful spirit. Release many things. Once you have tried and done your best, the outcome no longer matters and will pass. Whatever difficulties arise, face them with positivity. When misfortune strikes, always keep an optimistic, joyful heart. Greeting challenges with optimism transforms suffering into strength. A 3 don't attitude. Don't dwell on results. Don't fear hardship. Don't lose hope. Because a positive mindset is the first step toward overcoming adversity. Use optimism to rescue yourself from the mire of suffering, and you will be able to conquer even greater obstacles. The Buddhist teachings do not grant us impossible feats, nor do they restore what is lost. Instead, they instruct us how to face life's disappointments and, when we falter, how to promptly recalibrate ourselves. We are born into and live in the secular world, encountering praise and criticism alike. Some will say we are good, others will say we are not. But as long as we act according to our conscience, we need not heed others' judgments. If someone speaks rudely, let it pass without resentment, for words change nothing but can disturb our peace. If we allow even unintended criticism to unsettle us and carry that negativity into our lives, we become a conduit spreading bad moods everywhere, hurting loved ones and friends, like throwing a stone into a placid pond, whose ripples extend across the water. In reality, those past grievances are trivial. We store each day's events in our hearts. As joys and sorrows accumulate, they grow chaotic, making our hearts uneasy. If painful memories pile up, confusion follows. That is why we must regularly clean house in our minds to bid farewell to unwarranted anxieties. Faced with any situation, think positively and discard needless suffering. Only then will there be room for joy in your heart. Everyone endures unhappy moments. Only by timely letting go of needless sorrow can we attain peace and happiness. Suffering's depth varies. For the poor, 3 simple meals a day may bring contentment. For the wealthy, a lack of lavish fare at a banquet can cause annoyance. In seeking happiness, we often sow the seeds of our own suffering. Desire itself is natural, but it must be limited. Desire is not frightening, greed is. Most suffering arises from greed. Only by uprooting greed do we find contentment and joy. A newborn child clenches its fists. In death, a person's hands fall open. The purpose of life is not to amass more or less, but to continuously cultivate virtue and character, using the light of our humanity to illuminate every shadow in this world. When living in this world and fortune comes your way, remember not to keep everything for yourself. Endless accumulation of gain can never bring true sufficiency. Even if you are in the right, do not press others with your reasoning, for the world could debate for 1,000 years without end. Victory obtained at the cost of your kindness and gentleness is no true triumph. Even if your talent surpasses all, do not belittle others. Comparing one person to another easily wounds the heart. Comparing things to things can lead to discarding what you should cherish. If you display too much cleverness, people will be distrustful. If you demand perfect outcomes, you will invite resentment. If you show excessive pride, you will be shunned. Overthinking breeds anxiety. Paying excessive attention to trivial matters only torments yourself. Pursuing too much drains your energy. Only when your heart is truly happy do days flow smoothly, body and mind at ease, and life become worth living. There are 3 essential keys in life: acceptance, change, and departure. If you cannot accept, then change. If change is impossible, then depart. The optimist uses a smile to cover life's disappointments. The pessimist only complains and forgets joy and the gift of life. Do not keep asking others why. Instead, question your own right to ask. People are kind to you because you have shown kindness to them, or because you hold some value in their lives. Do not expect everyone to understand you, for each individual has their own tastes and concerns. All that matters is that you understand your own purpose and direction. Perfect yourself and create value within. The world will appreciate you naturally. We are flesh and blood and cannot avoid moments of utter exhaustion. A small, fragile heart may feel hurt or overwhelmed, yet that does not mean you must display every wound on your face. Nor must you run to someone else to share every difficulty. If every pain could be forgotten, who would choose to remain at peace? If every scar could instantly heal, the world's taboos would serve no purpose. Remember that you are only human. When your body is weary, rest. When your heart is wounded, seek healing. As long as you have tried with all your heart, there is no need for regret over outcomes. Many things in life are beyond our control, so do not burden yourself. Life offers only one true path. Surrender is not an option. The only route you cannot refuse is growth. Each challenge you overcome grants experience and makes you stronger. If you can compare less, calculate less, and resent less, if you can forgive more, understand more, and give more, then every day will feel like a new beginning and the world become a place of peace. We enter this world with two great matters: to be born, and once that is done, only one remains. There is no need to hurry. What is meant to be will arrive in its time. The wise do not live by the world's gossip, nor fear the gaze of others. They understand their own hearts, observe their own flaws and virtues, and steadily refine themselves. The greatest loss in life is not having a spiritual refuge, not knowing where to turn. Whether you realize it or not, whether you admit it or not, if your heart holds only goodness, nothing will disturb you. If your inner self is truly virtuous, you will never resent another. If your way of life is genuinely upright, no matter the storms, they cannot touch you. Doing good keeps the body healthy, the mind peaceful, and the sleep restful. Good deeds are understood by heaven, known by earth, and admired by spirits. Without doubt, the world is not cold. Without discrimination, the world is not distant. Without resentment, the sky remains warm. Without conflict, the four seas stay tranquil. True tranquility is not sitting still for hours, but cultivating a calm mind to observe all things and listen to the silent growth of flowers and grass. Lasting stability comes from within. No external pursuit can provide it. People toil their whole lives, yet cannot carry even a single leaf beyond this world. If you spend a lifetime accumulating, in the end, even a bit of vanity cannot accompany you. Once admiration arises, whether in wealth or poverty, everyone must eventually say farewell. Therefore, while you still have the chance, live wholeheartedly and cherish those you care about. Do not chase the fleeting illusions of this world. Life is actually very short. Many who promise to live 100 years turn their backs and become memories. Some who forge deep bonds find themselves separated by life and death at dawn. So while opportunity lasts, avoid unnecessary strife. Do not overthink. Do not fixate. Do not expect too much. Strive to treat those around you a little better, for after this life you may never meet them again. We can only experience, never possess, for we are merely travelers passing through. One day we must bid a final farewell, so face what passes calmly and open your heart to receive it. Life flows by swiftly. If you can move beyond the illusions of fame and profit, you can touch what is real. When complications arise, handle them gently and cast off burdens you do not need, so that with a peaceful heart you can move forward. Yielding the way to others spares you petty struggles. Looking beyond, you will see the rainbow after the rain. Traveling light brings freedom. On a long journey, the most beautiful scenery is not seen by the eyes, but felt by the heart. Deep feelings need not be spoken. They are revealed through action. Whenever things go against you, remember the nature of water, gentle, calm, and silent. It transforms all things without contention or division. If everyone could cultivate such a state, there would be no lack of peace in the world nor restlessness in our hearts. If you see the good in everyone and find meaning in every event, you will find life joyful and the world beautiful. If you face life with a troubled mind, viewing everything as karma's burden, the world will seem ugly and hateful. The best way to be beautiful is to preserve inner calm and a joyful spirit. This beauty makes others feel at ease rather than resentful. In truth, what we receive in life results from what we have sown before. and what we do now will bear fruit later. Life continues in this cycle, and if we remain aware, we will limit many negative thoughts and refrain from blaming heaven or others when things go awry. Blessings arise from diligence and a simple lifestyle. Cultivate compassion, help the poor, practice gratitude, repay deep kindness, and maintain respect for all people and things. With faith in cause and effect, you will not commit regrettable acts. Cheerfulness and perseverance in present goodness will bring a bright and gentle tomorrow. Even the strongest can grow weary, and caring too much can bring pain. Overzealous action or excessive words too often become boastful. Life inevitably brings both bitterness and sweetness. If it is truly life, how can it avoid the warmth of human kindness? Who does not long for a smooth voyage, free from suffering? Who does not wish to treasure bonds of loyalty and affection that never fade? Once you see things clearly, you feel lighter. Some who fully understand no longer burden themselves with worry. As humans, we should not always be overly rigid. Even wholehearted devotion can be met with resentment. Relax and be carefree, and nothing will bind you. Simply honor those before you and do your work well. With sincerity and integrity, you have no shame before your own heart, and everything will return to you in kind. If we only demand from the outside, we lose trust and diminish our character. All phenomena are empty, yet causality never fails. Generosity is the best way to free ourselves. A compassionate heart seeks no reward. Help others selflessly and without fear of asking for anything in return. Only the power of goodness leads us to genuine joy. Living is like a vessel. The more sorrow we discard, the more space we create to hold joy. Letting go does not mean losing passion or purpose. Rather, it means accepting that life constantly changes and that we cannot control everything. The Buddha teaches that to find transcendent clarity, we must regard every experience as an opportunity to grow and learn. Releasing the mind means making room in the soul to gently welcome new states of being. When we cling too tightly to thoughts, our mind becomes overcrowded and uneasy. Just as enclosing a flower bud stifles its bloom in a colorful life, letting go allows us to be like leaves dancing in the breeze, light and happy. True happiness comes from valuing each moment, even the simplest ones. Sometimes we must learn to live in the present and not let worries rob us of today's joy. When our mind is open, we invite clarity, allowing the soul to soar and experience life's beauty. Positive thinking paves the way for good outcomes. Thoughts shape who we are. If you believe yourself useless, you will never achieve, because you will not act. If you believe yourself capable, you will find a way to become so. Simply think positively, and things will fall into place. Life is less sorrowful when we turn every encounter into personal joy. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing oneself is enlightenment. Conquering oneself is more meaningful than 1,000 battles. This is a profound lesson everyone must learn. Self-mastery is the greatest trial one faces. Therefore, we should practice meditation to understand our preferences and needs. Fulfilling what brings us joy helps us live more happily each day, finding serenity within. We often seek peace externally, unaware that true tranquility lies within. When we rid our mind of greed, anger, and ignorance, and release competition and envy, peace naturally arises and life feels lighter. How, then, do we safeguard inner peace? 1. Avoid negative conversations and negative people. 2. Do not harbor resentment or anger. Learn to let go and forgive. 3. Do not envy others. 4. Accept what cannot be changed. 5. Cultivate greater patience and compassion toward people and circumstances. 6. Do not judge events from a narrow, one-sided perspective. 7. Do not dwell on the past at the expense of the present and future. 8. Learn to relax your mind each day. Spend at least 10 minutes reviewing your day and calming your spirit amid life's rush. The best way to unwind is through walking meditation. When the mind is at peace, the body swiftly restores its energy, bringing ease and tranquility. Remember, no one can grant you peace except yourself. Life, how strange it is that happiness is merely fewer worries. I returned to a silent realm to rest my weary spirit. 3 workers were building a wall when a passerby asked, "What are you doing?" The first replied, "Can't you see? I'm building a wall." The second said, "We are constructing a high-rise." The third answered, "We are creating a new city." 10 years later, the first is building another wall at a new site. The second works as a construction engineer in a design office. The third is the employer of the other two. All three perform the same task, yet their mindsets determine their positions. Those who continually conquer themselves will continually rise. Maintaining an optimistic attitude shapes the quality of your future life. The more optimistic you are, the healthier your body becomes and the higher your life's quality. When thoughts of sorrow arise, cast them from your mind and remember that some circumstances are beyond your power to change. The best approach is to remain calm and consider everything clearly. Train yourself to feel happiness and make it a primary practice. Smile often at yourself and those around you so others know you are joyful. Reducing criticism of others helps you avoid negative emotions and minimize envy, which can harm your life. Many feel unhappy without realizing their expectations are unrealistic and that happiness is relative. Do not strive for perfect happiness at once. Rejoice in small things rather than waiting for something grand. Every day we face frustrations and situations beyond our control. Changing what we can is ideal, but not always possible. Therefore, we must learn to adapt to these realities and accept them with cheer. Cultivate patience, tolerance, and generosity. Look upon yourself and others with kindness and gentleness. Do not fear failure. Let the past pass and focus on the present moment. There is no need to revive painful memories. Practice meditation. Just a few minutes each day can transform your life. Those who truly cultivate the way should not fear hardship, for adversity is precisely what refines the mind, elevates consciousness, and fosters genuine wisdom. Spiritual practice unfolds in everyday life. If you embrace boundlessness of heart, accepting and forgiving all, you will find no situation perplexing. You will see every person as fundamentally good and regard every circumstance you face as beneficial. This is not empty theory, but proven by experience. Remember well, be strict with yourself and generous with others. When you err, hold yourself to account. When others err, do not harshly condemn them. In dealing with people, superiors, colleagues, subordinates, or anyone, you treat everyone kindly, and natural goodwill will dispel resentment between you and others. We often speak of the universe's unchanging laws, yet many forget the state of true awareness. They exhaust themselves without pausing to consider whence they came. We arise from awareness, emerging from the void. Why do we labor from dawn till dusk only to feel sleepy? Because humans need moments of wakeful stillness. The mind cannot remain active indefinitely when grappling with complexity so great it seems unsolvable. The first thing to do is let your mind rest. Be fully present without thought. In that calm, a viable solution will suddenly emerge. This is the power of clarity. When faced with an insurmountable problem, the more you dwell on it, the more your mind becomes agitated and your nerves strained. In the end, whether through illness or worse, you suffer. Those who cultivate altruism experience peace blossoming in the heart. Those consumed by self-interest drift in unease, trapped in endless suffering. Reflect deeply. If you possess nothing, what can you truly call yours? All around us, in every direction, we are kin. There is no enemy for life's journey.